just the right size. I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you very much. So I usually start off with on behalf of the governor, Philip D. Murphy, the 56th governor of the great state of New Jersey, and 355,000 plus veterans in New Jersey. Thanks for having me here. So, yeah, 355 plus changes everything. So I saw the notes. You know, usually when I get out and about, I ask simple questions. Like, okay, they want me, but why? What do they want me to talk about? All right, so I saw the 3 bullet comments, and I'll try to just hit those 3 questions with talk. And then if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I don't bite. I'm very friendly. I'm actually from Monmouth County. This is where my mother grew up, right around here. And this is a short drive from my home, so I was very happy to get an invitation for somewhere close. I mean, usually they want me to go where? So this is easy. This is, oh man, I'm like, about time. So this yacht club is very nice. I'm gonna look up the membership fees. I don't know if I can afford that yet, but we'll see. So I've been in the office about 5 months now, coming on 6 months, and a lot of interesting things have happened, a lot of war stories I could tell you. But the first thing I want to do is, you know, I want you to realize, you guys might know this, there's a couple people in the building, hey, watch out for the naval militia, man, they're going to put their hand in your pocket. You know, I'm not worried. There's nothing in my pocket, so I'm not worried anyway, right? So I'm not worried about those types of things. I am an energetic, innovative type of thinker. I'm in the yes business. I'm in the let's get things done business. And if you're telling me there's a group of people out there that want to serve the state of New Jersey and they're low cost, smart, and handsome and good looking, yes, I'm all in. How can I lose, right? And let me tell you how I know this. So I was just talking to the commander a minute ago. September 13th, 2001, I took my battalion commander, I was a captain, and my XO, and my sergeant major, and you know, it's right up 2 days after 9/11, everything's still smoking. And my boss is, hey, we got to get up there. We had some people at Ground Zero, not many. We had one in the what I'll call the jock with the mayor, and we had several medics who went up there just to help. They just drove up into the city, no orders, no nothing, just to dive on the pile. Remember, cell phones didn't work, things like that, so we had no communications with them. But we wanted to get up there and make sure they were okay, you know, get their information, make sure we get them on salary, get them paid, things of that nature. So we drive up to Jersey City, right where the park is, Liberty State Park, I think it is. So we're in the park, and there I am, pretty much like standing down there by all the boats. And I'm like, my boss is like, well, what are you gonna do? How are we getting over there? I'm from Jersey though, I improvise. You know, boss, give me a minute. So I walk around for a couple minutes, and I bump into these guys. Guess who they were? The Naval Militia. The New Jersey Naval. I saw New Jersey Naval. We're cousins, right? Hey! And without it, I said, look, my colonel's over there. I told him I'd get him to the city. And I hopped on a boat, and you guys took us over to ground. Now, you dropped us off. They're getting back. That's a whole other story. Dropped us off because the police didn't want all the boats there to everybody out. We went down there. We found our guys. It was, you know, you guys remember 9/11, so it was a thing. It was one of the highlights of my career to be able to do something like that. And the Naval Militia made it possible. So when I got an invitation, of course I was coming. All right? And I want to thank you guys for that. I really appreciate that. So that was and, the funny part is how we got home. So when we were done, we went back. He said, where'd they go? So we got a ride back with the New York State Police gave us a ride back. But that was a good deal. So anyway, so one of the questions is, what's going on with DMAVA? So there's a lot of rumors about what's going on in DMAVA, and actually, you know, I'll get a phone call and say, yeah, your new initiative on this or that is, what are you talking about? I never heard of that. You know, so there are people in the department, it's 10,000 people who do things, and believe it or not, I don't know what everybody's doing all the time. So they're not bad things, they're just maybe they think we need to work on this legislation, but we're all working on this one. And that one's good too, it's just, you know, we didn't get to that one yet. So things like that happen all the time. So a lot of different initiatives. There are things we're working on with our hotline. We're trying to streamline that to make sure people in crisis, you know how to reach the number. And we have a few more people answering the phones to take some stress. You know, if you take several calls in a row, it can be a little stressful. So we're trying to spread that out a little bit. As far as our nursing homes, if you didn't know, We have 3 nursing homes. You have 3 nursing homes. One up north, Paramus, Central, Menlo Park, and one in Vineland. If you think you might need to go to the nursing homes, you can pre-register. So just go online, register, get on the wait list. And when I say wait list, we can usually get people in there, but some people just register because when something happens, they want to make sure they can get in with less paperwork. That's a big thing. So the nursing homes are fine, in my opinion. We have some great staff there, and just like any other team, there's 1 or 2 people who do something stupid every now and then, and we work on that. So I think if you come check our nursing homes and you want to do a service project or just visit, you'll find a pretty good place. It's not bad. And if you weren't a veteran and you had to go to a nursing home to get the care we're providing, it's very expensive. So it's a good deal. New Jersey is a great place to live. We have 2 transitional facilities, Fairhaven North and South. You guys don't have to worry about that. And those are the key cornerstones. And actually, one of the best things we have, but it's kind of morbid when I talk about it, Doyle's Cemetery. So, I mean, it's great, but it doesn't sell well when you're doing a speech, right? But I got to put it out there. If you think you're going to need those services, you can pre-register for that too, okay? And what happens is, if you're coming to a place where you have something terminal, if you pre-register, it takes a lot of stress off your loved one, okay? So when you need to be taken care of, we are going to take care of you in a beautiful place. All the paperwork's taken care of. It's free. We do provide the base headstone, the simple one, and I don't know exactly how to do it on the site, which I think you can pre-register as a couple too. So if you guys want to be next to each other for eternity, you can do that. So those are the majority of the physical things we do. You guys probably should know we have veteran service officers throughout the state. And when I say we have them, there are a lot of veteran service officers that do not belong to DMAVA, the state of New Jersey. The American Legion has them, the VFW has them, the counties have them. So there are a lot of VSOs out there. But ours are probably the most well-trained and have the most access to things. So whatever VSO you're using, if they're doing a good job, it doesn't matter whose VSO they are, they're just doing a good job, that's all you need to know. God bless America. So that's one thing. And those are the key things. I won't get into legislation because it's boring and complicated, but if there is a legislative initiative you want me to check on, let me know. My bodyguard here, Captain Souter, he's got my business card. He give you send me an email, our legislative liaison will pull up the bill number and get back to you on where it is, what's going on with it. The only new one I can think of right now that you guys might not care about is combat action license plates. We're working on, that's a lower tier thing. And our sweet spot we're trying to accomplish is what I call assisted living. We believe with our nursing homes and our transitional homes, the one thing we're missing is an assisted living facility. So I don't know how long I'll be in this job, but it'll probably take me my whole tour to get that done. But hopefully it'll be there when I need it, right?
That's very nice.
So that's good. So that's what's going on. Now if you talk military side of the house, in our department, if you're not aware, we're three branches of government, I like to say. We're Veteran Services, we are the Air Guard, and we're the Army Guard. All right? And then we have this thing called the militia, right? You guys know about that. But the other branches are, Air Guard's doing just fine. We have 2 wings, one at Fort Dix, excuse me, Joint Base Lake. Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst. It's always going to be Fort Dix to me. And in Atlantic City. They're doing just fine. I would say I'll just hit the top issue. Their top issue is new airframes now in the out years. They're flying like F-16C models, and they want KC-35s for the next couple of years. Whatever comes out next, our Air Guard team wants to make sure they get the same equipment that the Air Force is getting, because we fly just as much as they do. You can't, it's interchangeable. When they fly, they're using our refuelers to do their missions, so we have to have proper equipment. So that's probably the number one thing with the Air Guard. Army Guard, number one, well, 1.5 things. The big thing is, in the next year, we're going to mobilize 2,000 people to Africa, Kuwait, Afghanistan, the Sinai, Gitmo, Bosnia, and maybe 1 or 2 other places. So if your group does any farewells or anything, there'll be plenty of opportunity to come on out or welcome people back in the next year or 2. That's that. The other thing we're doing, we're a little under strength right now. So this little bit applies to the air, but like you guys, it's getting harder to recruit. Mad Dog Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, has really put the thumb on us to make sure that lethality is the number one thing right now with everything we're doing. In other words, the number one thing is to make sure all your people can put on a uniform, throw on a backpack, and go kill bad guys, right? That's what he's worried about. So when you do that, and you go through the population, we have an obesity problem in America. We have this thing called the internet, where a lot of teenagers have criminal charges for threatening to punch somebody in the face. The same thing we used to do and no one ever heard it, but now you get a charge, you can't join. Then you have these prescriptions that doctors give out that they don't necessarily disqualify you, but it can take you off the ability to join for maybe 2 years. And I can't even think of one. This is not one maybe, but I'm going to say Ritalin, something like that. So if you took Ritalin at 17, you can't join till you're 20, something like that. And Ritalin might not be on the list, I just made that up, but you get my point. So it makes it very difficult to recruit people. And we're in the business, we're doing well, but we can do better. So if you have any grandchildren, children, some of you guys, you think you can still get back in, come see me, I get a waiver going, we'll get you a uniform, whatever it takes. But strength is important. So those are the key things for our 3 branches of the government, all right? So now, you guys. So pretty simple question. I was asked, I think the wording was, how do I see, or what do I see the future of the naval militia or the militia? I totally have a need for the militia. And I was looking at some notes. I haven't actually had a deep conversation with General Kniff or General Reef or even General Glazier about their thoughts, but I see their notes. So General Glazier looked like he was all in. He was really for it. General Reef looked like he was being constrained financially, so he was worried about that. And General Kniff, I can't tell, I have to ask him. So I have comms with all of them. I could just call them, hey, what do you think? And see what they were doing and where they were going, and maybe pull out some of their products and get things moving again. But I saw one, I guess it was something in the language with the report that General Reef presented to the legislature, all right? And it talked about money. It's New Jersey, everything's about money. So, like you guys, if you have a great idea on how to generate some money for them, I'm open ears, because I might use that to generate money for other areas. Another one was fitness. So I know all you guys right now can get out here and swim all over to Staten Island and back, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's ready? All right, let's go. But I'm not really worried about that, because there are other areas where one of the bigger threats today, you guys know about cyber stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can't swim over there and back, but you're really good on a keyboard. You can kill Russians and North Koreans and Chinese on the computer all day long. So I see a place for the militia. I have a strategic planner in place, and when I say I mean you guys. His name's Colonel Mackey. He basically literally put him in the basement of Damava and threw a whole bunch of red meat in there and said, Keith, figure out all this stuff. So I'm probably going to leave here with one ask. If you have 1 or 2 people who live near Damava that want to come in one day, nothing fancy, just come in one day a week. He'll hand you some stuff, you read it, make a few phone calls, make up some notes, hand them back to him, and that's it, pretty light stuff. And that will help him extend his reach. And some of it's just research, just reading this law or that law. And I tried to arm him with 2 part-time attorneys, one from the Air Force, one from the Army. So if you give them enough information to be dangerous, they can take that and run with it and move the militia forward. Things like that. We have, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 strategic items. So when I say strategic items, when you just join the Navy, and I guess what's the ensign? Mm-hmm. You're at the bottom, and you say, if I was ever in charge, if I was the admiral, I'd do this. All right. So never thought I'd have this job, but I had my short list of those things, and in the last 6 months, it's gotten a lot longer, and they've all turned into strategic initiatives. General Petersky had some of the other guys had some. Dr. Howe, she had a few. So we have them on a piece of paper. I want to say we're at 60 strategic items as of Monday. And if you want to know what's going on, I can't brief you 60 strategic items. Well, the bottom line is we're trying to use a baseball analogy. And in baseball, if you hit 300, you're doing well. So if we can get 30% of them going, I think we can move the entire organization forward. And before any of this happened, one of them talked about our militia. So you guys were already on my mind long before you invited me, trust me. So now I'm going to turn it back around and say, if you 1 or 2 people that live near Damava that want to come in, just do some research, pretty light work, that would be a good thing. So if anybody has any questions, I'm open to questions. Shoot. question?
I'm volunteering.
He's raising his hand to volunteer.
Bring your reading glasses. Pretty simple. Just do some research.
And so am I.
All right, good deal. Do you guys have any other questions on the department? Things you'd like to see? Sure, shoot.
Are they gonna keep the marble intact? Is there a talk about splitting it?
So my first question is, I answer a question with, who is they? It's a joke.
the
I'm kidding.
governor.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. Okay, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. So I can assure you, for those of you who may not know, the governor during his campaign campaigned on a new model of Veterans Affairs, which would give veterans more attention. If we were split and were funded to do that, the veterans probably would get a little more attention. However, where's this money coming from, right? So obviously, you guys watch TV, you know what's going on with the budget, right? So there's really no appetite to do something that doesn't have its own revenue stream or a new revenue stream, or it takes from something else. So what I was asked to do factually was go study it, get a working group, and pretty much we tried not to use our people internal people. So we used a couple external people and some of our people, and we just did simple. We just did a math problem, because math is math. 2 + 2 is still 4, no matter who does it. And we just wanted to determine how much it would cost. So I have an Excel spreadsheet. It's kind of hard to read, but the Excel spreadsheet basically says it's going to cost $3 to $4 million to separate the department. And you guys saw every government study that ever lived, right? And it said $4 million. What did it turn into? You guys said that, not me. I said 3 to 4, but you know what I'm saying, right? So if we could do it. If the governor says do it, we can definitely do it. We know how to do it. It probably would take, I don't know, maybe a year. But it would also require some legislator changes. They would have their own commissioner. Office space is not really a problem. The state is trying to get rid of some office space, so they would just hop on something that's available down in Trenton probably. Or we could divest some of our property, and we could do it physically. But financially, my retort is, instead of spending $4 million to split the department, just give us $2 million and see what we can do. And I think you'll be happy with that. So right now we have our preliminary numbers, and I have sent it up to the governor's office, and whenever our next legislative huddle is, it'll probably be after the budget is approved, we'll decide what to do next. And we can continue and come up with plans in case we want to split it. But either way, I think I'd like to say, no matter which way we go, the veterans in New Jersey will be taken care of. I think everybody will be good to go. And like any organization, I think we're good, but we can do it. And part of it is, I'm asking you guys right now, is there anything you want us to do? So just any other questions?
Yeah, so,
Sure.
General Glazer was one of the names you mentioned, and the other adjutants general. But I had a conversation this morning with Admiral Beard, who was one of the founders here, and he indicated to me that he would be more than willing to come from where he is in York, Pennsylvania, and visit Tamava to share any thoughts or any concerns that you might be able to glean from him. I'm a great believer in what's up here, and the gray matter of the people that are going before us is very valuable, even if it's nothing just to listen to and to run through, and hopefully not say, yeah, try that, didn't work. But at any rate, I would like to pass on to him that I did.
We can definitely
mention
do
that
that.
to you.
We'll call it the summit, but we can totally do that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
if not at Lawrenceville, at Seeger, one or the other. So it's pretty simple.
I have a question. One of the things that the unit's been looking into, as far as perhaps extending capabilities, is using small inflatables to be able to go to, say, flood-prone areas where a lot of the National Guard equipment necessarily wouldn't be able to go. And they're not very expensive to purchase, and they're very, very cheap to maintain and run. If we were to able to secure a source of funding so we could actually acquire this, would that be something we'd be able to do?
I don't know, but I do know this. Where was this at? I guess one of the first meetings I went to, the FEMA director briefed all the adjutant generals on the relationships. And part of his brief kind of touched on something like that. I can't, you just way back here in the memory. I'd have to look at my notes, but I think FEMA has some funding to push stuff like that, or the stuff itself. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might not even need the money, you might just have to request it and it will come. So I just can't remember. I'd have to look at my notes, but definitely, we'd be interested.
Back in the days of Admiral Beard, when we were a joint command, we had taken on the New Jersey DMAT as a medical unit. So we had dual membership. We had a fully functional medical unit, plus all the other members of the militia, so that we had a pretty good force. We were active during 9/11 and everything. So I just wondered, and of course that all fell apart once, FEMA took away the money and all that stuff. Is it something that we could consider again if we want to make a full force effort?
So, I don't know. I will tell you this, and I don't know what keywords I use. If you Google, it's actually on our website, it's a sub-link, but there is a report to the legislator I talked about it a minute ago, authored by General Reeve, Dr. Steve Abel, and Major General Falco Dotson. And it talks about some of that stuff. And I speed read through the report, I did not memorize it. It looks like we did a lot of things after 9/11 that maybe we didn't pursue the correct path to do it. And that was part of the reason I think we don't have what we need right now. So my answer is I don't know, but we can look into it. I'm open-minded. And I'd rather have more support than less. And medical's tough these days, so anything we could do to expand our medical footprint is a good thing. Good deal. Anybody else? You guys are easy. What's going on? What's up?
After General Reed's report came out, I didn't agree with it at all. So I wrote a 297-page book. It was actually...
That's all?
Yeah.
Why did you go 300?
I just ran out.
Okay.
And the funny part was, he had to, because of the ethics regulations, he had to prove that it get published,
Okay.
which it did. And I'm not going to bore you with it because it's a great cure for insomnia.
Okay.
But the guy in the basement, I'll be happy to give it to.
Yes. Oh, he'll love that.
And,
I'll tell him.
yeah.
I'll tell him Monday.
Okay.
I'll tell him Monday.
I actually think I've spoken with him on other matters.
Right.
And I also spoke with Colonel Cantor about how FEMA uses volunteer hours as matching money for funding for FEMA grants.
Okay.
And, if we expand to the point where we used to, 3,000 extra volunteer hours a month for matching money for federal grants, that makes us look good.
So I would say the big boss, the governor, the state, everybody likes to generate revenue from grants and things like that. So that's good news. So
Yeah.
capturing some of that and submitting for the grants, a good thing. We can do that. We actually interviewed, I think this Thursday, for our grant writer position. So we pulled some names off the list.
Okay.
Interviews this week. Now you can't hire anybody because of the budget freeze till July, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can select someone. So that's good.
Yeah, and I know
Good timing.
Colonel Cantor needs to look for money for
Right.
the
And that's-
stuff that he's doing.
Right. So the grant writer falls right
Yeah.
in that spot.
I retired 20 years ago, and I've been doing volunteer work for a long time, even before that. And a question came to mind: if you were as you were a battalion commander or a company commander, and you've got an excellent retention guy who's doing a bang-up job, and he runs out of time, and now he's got to retire, and he says to you, "Sir, I'd like to continue doing what I'm doing. Is it possible for me to do it as a volunteer?"
No. But
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not. It would take a long time to answer why, but no, it's not possible. But there are other ways to do it. There are. When you say run out of time, some stuff's waiverable, so you can extend people their mandatory removal date.
Yeah, but you can't bring me back.
Hey, you never know. You never know. So there are ways to do certain things, but no, you can't do that.
Well, that's a concept that I think is something I'd like to see if we could apply it to the naval militia state guard concept, because right now we might not have many people. We have a lot of volunteers. If we put volunteers in those positions to serve until we can recruit someone viable and more likely to stay and so forth, and then they step down. That's the concept I'd like to be able to either put to bed or activate. So, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you. Anything else? Oh, look, so if you forget everything else, just remember this. I'm open-minded, and when I don't even like using the word I see, I'm just telling you, the guy, Keith, he's got big shoulders, he has a lot of different things we're looking at, but his job isn't actually to do any of these initiatives, it's to make sure they get moving. That's why I said if you have one or two, then he'll pair you up with the right attorney we're gonna use and whoever else, and do some research, and then maybe we have a meeting, bring in Admiral Beard, whoever, and just get things moving, that's all, just get things moving. And again, out of 60 strategic initiatives, if we get 30% going, hey man, that's baseball, that's a good deal. So I want to thank you guys again for having me. I'm trying to think of the next thing I could invite you to. I mean, you know, we have the military review every year, September, October timeframe at Seegert. That's something to come to. If we have any farewell things, I'll make sure you guys know about that. And I think we're having an employee barbecue. Not that you'd want to come to that, but I mean, hey, hot dogs and hamburgers work well no matter where you are. So if you guys want to come to that, I'll get you a date on that. It's going to be at Seegert. It's going to be at Seegert. This is an actual question. Do you guys get beach passes to go to Seegert or not? Did you need it?
Military ID.
Okay, you guys, okay, good, okay. That's good to know. And I actually have some questions, so I'm gonna write down my questions, email them, and I'm trying to learn some new things too. But this place is fabulous. I wanna go over there now and check out what I think used to be an armory and look at that.
It's a big
Yeah,
That's a naval militia building.
yeah, and then,
They close at 10 o'clock.
not that you've been there before, right?
No.
And that's it. I mean, we're gonna stop at the American Legion on the way out and say hi to those guys, but you guys are fantastic. I mean, thanks for having me. And you know how to find me.
Comments.
All right, thank you. Thank you.